Dagda of Augusta Fulcher office mission on Scaly Piog. Hello, and you're very welcome. I'm the little storyteller, and it is Patreon Insider time again. We have mid-month. It's the audio as ever for our committed club members, and this audio is of a story I wrote quite a while ago called "Hospitable Habits." Um, it's it's one of my ongoing narratives with my God, with deity, with Dagda, where I try and break down a concept and handle it through a dialogue between me and him. Um, this is a difficult concept because it's the concept of hospitality. Now, when we say hospitality in current sense, it's like, oh well, making people feel welcome and feel at home and stuff. That's the more modern sense on it. When you say hospitality in an older sense, things get a lot more serious, and it's it's something I get asked about a lot. The rules about hospitality, because everyone knew that the ancient Irish custom and the ancient Irish kind of laws is that there were specific rules and specific laws about hospitality. Um, in that, like, certain people within society, certain members or classes within society, from chieftains or brewers, like, they couldn't turn someone away. If someone turned up to their house and was like requested hospitality formally, they could not say no. That person was then entitled to a meal, like, a safe place to sleep. And actually, I found a reference in the law tracts, which was great. A free person is entitled to no more than 6 pints. Because again, in ancient times, water, there was no water purification process, so you could actually get more sick drinking water than you would drinking beer, because beers and alcohols were fermented, and that fermentation would actually kill any harmful bacteria. So the whole purpose of, like, you wouldn't ask for a glass of water, you'd get like a pint of beer to go with your meal or whatever. Or, well, in a free man case, no more than 6 pints. So it's this idea of hospitality, that and an inability to say no, to a request for hospitality, that really kind of got my brain stirred on this. Um, and at the same time as this story was written, we were just post the marriage equality. We'd done with the repeal of the Eighth Amendment. It was a big time of change for Ireland, um, because we were making some very serious choices about how we wanted to acknowledge people within our society, like the right to self-identify, to be known for your pronouns, that you are just you, the way you choose to be, and to be respected and identified as such was a big fucking deal. Marriage equality, regardless of, your perceived gender or anything else. People should be able to get married, to, have a union and a celebration of their union. And then, of course, the very important repeal of the Eighth Amendment, the removal of a very restrictive and harmful amendment to our Constitution, which made an aspect of women's medical treatment illegal. So we went through a heck of a lot, and it was a very fraught, difficult time for many reasons. I've talked about it in other kind of videos, but we made the choice. Um, and I was delighted to see the way that it went. People choosing a progressive kind of viewpoint and an acceptance and a compassionate kind of viewpoint. But there was also a lot of pressure based on religious doctrine, specifically heavy Catholic doctrine, and that led to a very, very upsetting polarization of our people, which I was not too happy with. And I specifically remember seeing, like, it was a Christian notification or Catholic, like, leaflet that was shoved through our door, despite the no junk mail sticker, and it was trying to rally people to come together for a visit from the Pope, the head of the Catholic Church. And the Pope was Pope Benedict the 13th, I think is his Pope name, but it was Pope Ratzinger, was the or well Bishop Ratzinger, who became Pope Benedict. I'm not sure how to do that, but it was that lad at the time. And there was this on this leaflet. It was like, Ireland is the wayward sheep. We're the sheep that's gone away from the flock, and like the good shepherd will always go and get the wayward sheep. And that really roiled me up. It was like, who the fuck do you think you are? To try and undermine our people's decision to view a compassion and to accept. And oh, I'm sorry, I'm still getting a little bit wound up about it, but it was very difficult and frustrating at the time. So I did what I always do. I brought it to my God and had a conversation with him via the medium of words, as any good bard would. So this story was very much a change of perspective from me by going through the process, by tearing it apart, by taking steps on it, and then viewing it in light of hospitality. Um, I was able to find some middle ground in regards to how I could view it. Now, eventually, when the Pope did turn up, it was empty streets. No one actually went out, and I was fucking delighted because after all of the hullabaloo of like, oh, the Pope mobile is going to drive down all these streets, and we have to close off all these streets, no one fucking went out. Everyone stayed the fuck home, And if that wasn't a big like show of the attitude that people had towards that, I don't really know what is, and I'm very fucking proud of it. But um, I still have to acknowledge that Ireland isn't mine. I love Ireland. I say it's mine. Oh, it's my island, but it's not. It's not my private space. It's not my playground. It is a place of millions of people with millions of different unique perspectives and experiences. And mine is no more valid than anyone else's. Just because I disagree with someone doesn't mean they're wrong. They have value in their perspective. They have, the right to have their choices. And only in finding a middle ground where people can come together to honestly and respectfully and compassionately explore their differences in safety can we really grow and change? Can we really, say that we are a good community? Can we actually be a broad, accepting, compassionate community? Now, it's not fucking easy, and I say it in the story, like, I would never expect anyone to sit down with an abuser. I would never, expect anyone to face something that they couldn't face. And as ever, like, you can't beat intolerance with tolerance. That just doesn't add up. But that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is two people who may have differing ideals, differing perspectives, being willing to sit together over a table, being willing to kind of say, this is the space, this is the time, this is neutral ground. And that's what hospitality was. And the ancient way of hospitality, like if you came in under someone else's hospitality, if you requested hospitality as a guest, you were bound to protect that space as if it was your own, as if it was your own home. And if anyone came to violate that space, even if you disagreed with your host on certain things, you would defend it as if it was your own, because that was the agreement, that was the, the position of neutrality and the value of that. Being able to come together, knowing and being reassured that there is a safe place, that there is a place where you can get a night's sleep, you can get a good meal, and you won't have to be afraid. That's what hospitality was, and that's what hospitality can be. So the story really is a breakdown of all of that. Um, you can tell I'm very passionate about it still, and having gone through and done the audio recording for you there today, it has sort of a lot of my feelings and my emotions on it. But as I always say, Dagda rules apply. You got to feel your feelings. So I'm very grateful to have you here. I'm very grateful to be able to do this, to share my stories with you, to be able to do these kind of insider videos, to give you the look into the background behind the story. Like, what is it that sets the scene for where the words are? And hopefully give you some of my perspective. Because even though we may disagree on things, you're still a beautiful, amazing person, each and every one of you. You're a unique collection of your own experiences. You are a fantastic culmination of so many variables just to make you who you are. And no matter what you do, no matter where you come from, no matter how we're different, I can still look at you and say that that is fucking valuable and that is beautiful. So maybe I'm getting there. Maybe I'm coming a long way and growing up. Maybe the Dags is rubbing off on me and I'm getting to have a better perspective on things. And maybe we can do that together. Maybe this world can be better if we can get to the point where even though we know things are broken, we don't give up. Even though we know things will be difficult, we still try for words before we try for blades. Maybe it's the idealist in me. Maybe it's the Superman fan. Maybe it's the fact that I will always hold the hope. And maybe you'll enjoy this story too. So, Gaurav Mahagas, thank you very much for being here. Agus Slán. Goodbye.